Mike Lala. And
Hi,
what
baby.
memories I have of Mike
Oh,
Lala.
I don't like the way you say that, Janice.
We had so many times, so many hours we spent together on film assignment.
Well, I think so, with everybody. There was just so many and people who work with, Terry and Wayne, and nothing's changed. The show is just great listening to all the people and seeing everybody together again.
Except you have changed. I think it's fantastic. You know, you always were the one that could get out there and take chances and do things differently, and you're doing that today. Tell us about the block you own down there in the French Quarter.
Not quite. I have a nice restaurant in the French Quarter called the Old Orleans Cookery. We do a Cajun Creole type cuisine. I guess it's something I've always wanted to do. I've had a couple of failed efforts before that one, many years ago. But this one's going great. Now we've been there about 6 years.
You also did something about jazz, too, for a short while.
We had a jazz hall. We tried to do a little bit competition to Preservation Hall. And I think if I had a little larger space and more time, it would work. And I haven't really given it up. I have the name. It was called Crescent City Jazz Hall. We're going to keep the name, and hopefully someday on Bourbon Street we'll be able to do it again.
What do you think about business in New Orleans today?
This summer has been, I thought, a little bit slower than usual. Of course, we back to back with the convention last year, and maybe we had a little bit more expectations this year than we had last year because last year was so good. But I think it's coming back. We've got a lot of conventions booked. Of course, that's what we depend on, the people coming and the visitors and the tourists. And we got some great groups coming in town right now.
Well, Mike, it's great seeing you.
Always seeing you.
Okay. And now, Bob, I think he's got Ann Harvey over there.
Ann Harvey used to sing on Midday. Now she's Ann Harvey Earhart. And you're going to hit a high note for me, just for old times? My gosh, you still have one. But you also have the lowest register voice of any living woman I think I know, because you can turn on that kind of voice also.
The blues.
The blues,
yes.
Right. They used to pre-record the things for Midday, but then
and then lip sync on the show.
Yeah.
And that way we could go on location.
We're
out of time?
No, we're not out of time. Everybody's looking at us because we're so important.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Tell me what you're doing right now, because you do a lot of things. You don't
I'm
sing
in
anymore.
Well, I kind of sing for my own pleasure, but I'm in advertising. I'm a freelance media planner and buyer, and I live in the big town of Abita Springs, population 1,100.
Why did you stop singing?
I don't know. I guess I didn't have time to fit it all in with work.
Tell me about the last few weddings you sang at.
Oh, that's a tragedy. I'd rather not talk about that. I don't know why this happened, but I've sung at about 5 or 6 weddings, and everybody's divorced.
You sung at any bar mitzvahs? I wonder what would happen there.
I don't know. But I met somebody yesterday who was going to get married, and after I told that story, she said, do me a favor, don't even be in the neighborhood.
You want to hit a closing low note for us? Oh, boy, that's sensuous. Okay, let's see what Jan's doing.
John Domack is with us. And, John, you used to direct the show from time to time when Irwin was on vacation, Irwin Poche. And tell us some of the things that you remember about Midday when you directed.
The thing I remember the most was it was darn hard to get it on the air on time and even harder to get it off the air on time. Those are the things I remember the most about it.
What are you doing today now, John? You've retired, haven't you?
Pretty much. I've been very heavy in real estate on the North Shore. And but I'm winding it down now. I'm kind of slowing up a little.
Well, I remember, of course, you directed our second Cup show.
That's the show I really enjoyed doing. That was so much fun.
It was. We did it from the roof of New Orleans, and believe it or not, we were in black and white at that time, weren't we?
No.
Remember that, weren't we in black and white when we first
started?
started?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. Well, John, it's been great having you here, and come and have something to eat.
I sure
now,
will.
Bob, you're talking to somebody over there.
Ed Herman was one of the engineers who worked so hard on the Midday program. Ed, you're still at Channel 6.
I'm still at it, Bob.
What are you doing now? Things different from when we were doing the things in the
I
old
was
days?
doing 5 years ago. Still on that camera.
But cameras have changed over the last few years. Are they any easier or simpler than they were with those big old cameras we had on Midday?
We don't have to wait by and keep changing tubes like we used to. Now you got an electric zoom, and it's easy.
You know, one of the hardest things for talent was the talent was all ready. We got the makeup on. We were all ready to go. And then they say, technical failure. They still do that, or are things so...
Not too much these days, no. Everything's there. Better be there.
Do you have any particular memory about Midday, any catastrophe that ever happened? Did you ever do anything that messed the show up?
No, but he's had some good times on that show. Very good times. It was a good show and good people doing it, too.
How long have you been at WDSU?
36 years.
36 years? What are you going to do after DSU, do you think?
Leave.
We want to thank you for being here today at the party. Gosh, it's been
I
great
enjoyed
to
every
see
bit of
you.
it. Good. Enjoyed seeing everybody here, too.
Isn't it fun?
Oh, yeah.
It's really wonderful. I think Jan's talking to somebody else, so well, it's like a switch.
A familiar face, of course, is Rivette Hetterl, and the reason we look so good today is because of you, Rivette.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's always fun.
Can you tell me something you remember about the Midday?
Well, I think the funniest thing is that every time I got ready to do Terry, she'd go swimming. And she'd show up at the studio, and her hair would be dripping wet and looking horrible. And she'd say, well, darling, you can do something with it. And I said, but Terry, it's soaking wet. So finally, we made an agreement. I told her, I said, whenever you go on and you're wet, you make a little sign. And it says, when I look well, I've been done by Rivette. When I look terrible, I've been done by Terry.
And John, we remember so vividly the times that you came on and modeled for us.
Oh, yes, it was a great time. I used to model Rivette's hairdos, just as I'm still doing, it seems like, and we had a great time.
Now you do things. You're in boutiques and that kind of thing. You make things.
Yes, we make a little jewelry and a little painted clothes and fun things like that.
And I love what you have on today.
Oh, I know. I've got the key to everything.
You do. Now, Bob, who do you have over there?
Way back in the beginning of the show, Jan said something about family, and, you know, we were a happy family, I guess. Were we a happy family?
Oh, yeah, Alec, we were.
I
remember you all so well.
Was there ever anything you ever wanted to tell me that you never got a chance to?
Yeah, how'd you ever get in show business anyhow?
Well, I'm not in it anymore.
I was saying, Alec, Nash and I were talking, Bob, about 13 years together. You know, all those years.
That's right.
That isn't done anymore. You know, nobody lasts in a group that long anymore.
Look who's muscling in, the star of this Silver Network program.
I want to know, Terry and Al were standing here and they were being
chatting.
You're being so quiet.
About guess what?
What?
Darling, you're getting, not you, we are getting
Getting
older.
old.
Silver threads among the gold.
Oh, come on. Listen, I learned something a long time ago. Terry, you never ask a woman her age. How much do you weigh?
Yeah.
You better not. You can ask me my age, but don't ask me too much.
Terry, can you come over here for just a second? Because I got two things I've got to say. Turn around. Okay, turn around. You know, television makes your image a little different than your live image, and everybody always thought of Terry as this huge, tall woman because
Thank
you were
lady.
bigger than life. And Terry is standing in heels right now. So
I'm standing tall.
you were bigger than life, but a small stature. Can we tell about what happened? We went into Parasol's bar last night. Tell what happened.
Oh, no.
Well, we went into the bar to get.
story?
We
How
went
dare
into,
you.
It's a new story. None of
A
you have
new
heard.
story.
We went into Parasol's bar to get poor boys, not
My
beer,
favorite
poor
food.
boys. And the lady that was making the poor boys kept looking over at Terry like this, kind of like recognition. And what did she say?
She said, oh, I know, you're Angela.
Really? Oh, I love it. I love it. Really? She did?
But she said that you're Angela. You're Angela
Don't tell
Hill.
You're
Angela.
looking for Garland.
And I said, no, she's Terry Fletcher, like everybody ever called her. Yeah, and then she was more excited. She was more excited to see Terry Fletcher than she was to see Angela.
No, she wasn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was. Jan, I've just stolen a part of your show.
Oh, that's all right.